There's plenty of major blockbuster games coming up in the coming months and years, and we've sure spent plenty of time talking about most, if not all of them. In this feature, however, that's not what we're going to do. Here, we're going to change gears and look at some other exciting upcoming projects that, for some reason or the other, haven't received as much attention as they probably should. Before we go ahead, a quick request. We upload new videos every single day, and your subscription matters a lot. So please consider subscribing and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. With that out of the way, let's begin. Ill. Over the last decade, the first-person horror genre has become one where indies and AAA developers alike have seen a lot of success, which is why it's hard not to take notice of any new game in the space with an interesting concept. Ill is looking like another such game. Developed by Cloud Games, the Patreon-funded title is looking to set itself apart from the crowd with things such as physics-driven combat and dismemberment, enemies that can transform in real time, and some really twisted and horrifying designs for the monsters you'll go up against. BLEAK Forsaken. Described by its developers as a survival horror open-world action RPG, BLEAK Forsaken is shaping up really well so far. Developed by just 2 people, it's promising a large world to explore, and that world seems to be on point as far as atmosphere and actual scares are concerned. The combat, meanwhile, is taking plenty of cues from the Souls series, but is putting its own twist on it by being much faster. The work-in-progress gameplay footage we've seen so far of the game has looked impressive, so we're excited to see how it progresses. VESPER. One look at VESPER is enough to grab attention. Its beautiful art style instantly catches the eye, but even beyond that, VESPER seems to have plenty going for it. Described as a classic puzzle platformer, the game is putting plenty of emphasis on atmosphere, while unique mechanics also promise to spice up the gameplay. Creating darkness to use as a tool and controlling the minds of your enemies are going to be your primary weapons in VESPER, which definitely sounds unique. ARAGAMI 2. The first ARAGAMI wasn't a perfect game, but those who played it would tell you that it was still a compelling stealth action title, flaws and all. The upcoming sequel seems to be on track to be significantly better though. Levels are going to be much more open-ended, progression mechanics are going to be much deeper, both stealth and combat are seeing plenty of improvements, while traversal is also looking much more kinetic. Tenchu fans are going to want to keep an eye on this one. Black Myth Wukong. Chances are you've heard of Black Myth Wukong by now. Of all of the games we've talked about here so far, Black Myth has probably received the most attention. And really, it's not hard to see why it's grabbed the attention of so many people. It's looking like a visual spectacle. It's making all of the right promises in terms of scale and production qualities. Its combat is looking like a faster take on Dark Souls. There's plenty to be impressed by already here, and even though the game probably will not be out for a while, we're still definitely going to be keeping an eye on this one. Little Devil Inside. Little Devil Inside has received plenty of attention since its announcement, but we'd still say it deserves more of the spotlight. Every time we see this game in action, we become more excited about the prospect of getting to play it. Engaging open-world exploration, varied combat, a unique visual style, roguelike and survival elements. Little Devil Inside is making a lot of interesting promises, and we really hope that it makes good on them. Blue Protocol. Blue Protocol is being developed by Bandai Namco, and it's gotten a lot of traction in Japan. But even so, in the West, you don't see a lot of people talking about it, which is a little strange because this game looks really interesting. The prospect of a well-made MMORPG is always an alluring one, but with a dense and vibrant open world to explore, slick and fast-paced combat, and a gorgeous visual style, Blue Protocol looks especially exciting. The Day Before. We get a lot of zombie shooters, we get a lot of open world games, and we get a lot of MMOs. But we don't get too many games that combine all of those things into a single package. That's exactly what The Day Before is promising to do. It made a strong impression with its initial game reveal, and with its blend of survival mechanics, horror vibes, open-world gameplay, and other features such as a focus on vehicles and base building, it certainly seems to have a lot going for it. Will it make good on the strong first impression it's made? Well, that remains to be seen. Either way, developer Fantastic have certainly piqued our curiosity. Black Legend. Set in an accursed city, covered in a fog that causes madness, Black Legend is a turn-based strategy RPG that you should be keeping an eye on. A combat system that emphasizes alchemy, multiple classes, and customization options to encourage build diversity, strong art design and atmospheric locations, and a world that looks ripe for exploration could all come together in a legitimately good game. Developer Warcave is definitely onto something here, so let's just hope Black Legend is as good as they're making it sound. 06 Behind Enemy Lines. 06 Behind Enemy Lines is a tactical third-person shooter gameplay and will feature a single-player campaign as well as team-based multiplayer modes, while encouraging tactical and strategic gameplay, so it certainly seems like there's going to be plenty to sink your teeth into. Atomic Heart. We've been talking and hearing about Mundfish's open-world action RPG Atomic Heart for some time now, but development troubles and delays have definitely dampened the hype for this game. Even so, there's a lot about it that catches the eye. With a unique alternate history Soviet Union setting, a focus on crafting and scavenging, and what will hopefully be an engaging narrative, Atomic Heart definitely has all the elements in place to be a good game. Here's hoping all of that can come together as well as it should. TL Origin. Beginning life as Lineage Eternal, TL Origin, or Project TL as it was known not that long ago, has certainly seen a long and eventful development cycle. In its current state though, it's shaping up to be a rather interesting game. An isometric MMORPG, TL Origin is promising punchy and visceral combat, and the gameplay footage that we've seen so far certainly paints a very pretty picture. NCSoft's track record is one that calls for caution, admittedly. But even so, TL Origin is looking good enough that we're curious to see how it turns out when it finally launches. Boundary. There's no shortage of tactical, multiplayer shooters on the market, so why exactly has Boundary caught our eye? Well, because it's a tactical, multiplayer shooter set in space. Zero-gravity firefights, low-gravity maneuvering, uniquely designed maps, and battlefields that leverage the setting, an emphasis on weapon customization and more are all being promised, all of which sounds immensely fascinating. If Boundary can do justice to its premise, it'll probably end up being a very special game. Century: Age of Ashes. Given the fact that Century: Age of Ashes showed off a rather flashy trailer at the Game Awards this past December, there's a pretty good chance you've at least heard about it. If you haven't, you really should look into it, especially if you're on the lookout for a unique multiplayer experience. Century: Age of Ashes will see players hopping on the backs of dragons and going up against each other in large-scale, high-octane battles with unique classes and customization options for dragons to contend with as well. Best of all, it's going to be free to play. Project DT. Chinese developer Digital Sky has mostly stuck with making casual mobile games up until now, but they're prepared to make the jump into premium development, and it looks like they're doing it in style. Project DT is looking like an exciting action title, blending its sci-fi aesthetic with slick, fast-paced combat. It's looking energetic and dynamic in all the right ways, and we cannot wait to see what this game turns into. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.